Look, LeBron James made the decision on Tuesday here that he will enter free agency. But not only that, he has decided to leave the Los Angeles Lakers. Rich Paul, his agent, informed Rob Pelinka, the Lakers' president of basketball operations, that the Lakers can move on with their offseason because LeBron James is moving on with them.
LeBron James just pulled off the most calculated exit in NBA history, and the whole league still hasn't recovered from the shockwave. The King has officially told the Los Angeles Lakers he is moving on, leaving the franchise to deal with the messy aftermath. The reactions from superstars and former teammates are absolute gold. Do you think LeBron James completely used the Lakers to secure his son's financial future, or did the front office fail him?
Obviously, there's been a lot of different moves over the last year or so with the Lakers, different priorities with the Lakers. Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, we know they're both on max contracts, and their organization had decisions to make. And so before it can get to a point where the Lakers had to take time and wait, LeBron James made the decisions for them. Now both sides can move on.
LeBron James has officially told the front office that they can go ahead and move on with their business this offseason because his bags are packed and he is out the door. The absolute timing of this departure is so beautifully toxic that it deserves a museum exhibit. Exactly 24 hours before LeBron had his agent deliver the bad news, the Lakers quietly allowed a contract deadline to pass on June 29th, making a fully guaranteed $2.3 million salary official for his son, Bronny James. You really have to admire the absolute brilliance of the execution. The Lakers had until that Monday deadline to waive the kid, clear a clean $1 million from their luxury tax ledger, and adjust their roster focus. Instead, they took the bait, locked in the check for the kid's third professional season, and signed the paperwork. The literal next day, Rich Paul picked up the phone, called Rob Pelinka, and basically said the franchise could officially proceed without the father
with their offseason. And so why? I'm told this is a happiness-led decision for LeBron James. He feels like he needs to find his happiness elsewhere, and wherever he lands in free agency, it will not be driven by money according to sources. And so it was a bumpy finish for him.
If you honestly believe that sequence of events is just a random coincidence, you should probably not be trusted with a bank account or a basic fantasy sports lineup. That is textbook business strategy from the most powerful player agency in professional sports. The franchise got completely handled. Rich Paul immediately ran to the media microphones to claim that LeBron is walking away purely in a pursuit of complete happiness, which is a hilarious piece of public relations fiction. That sounds like the kind of soft text you find printed on a cheap office calendar or a yoga mat. Thankfully, Shams Charania stepped up to deliver the actual reality, revealing that LeBron and management simply did not see eye to eye on what it actually meant to try and build a competitive championship roster. So on one side of the curtain, you have the corporate camp painting a picture of peaceful enlightenment, while the actual basketball insiders are pointing at a massive organizational disagreement.
And now they're going to have $50 million to play with from a salary perspective.
And to think, Shams, free agency hasn't even officially opened yet. Thank you very much for joining us here for that insight. We appreciate it. In the meantime, reaction is understandably pouring in here on social media. The entire sports world wondering where LeBron James may go next, and will this be it in his all-time great career? Could this be the last year that he plays in the NBA? Certainly the questions continue. NBA Today will have a free agency special.
The most embarrassing detail in this entire breakup is that the Lakers never even bothered to extend a formal contract offer to their legendary star before he checked out. ESPN reported days prior that it was highly likely he would leave town, which means both sides basically sat on their hands, watched the clock run out, and let an 8-season partnership expire without even a formal conversation. The second the news hit the wire, 10 to 12 teams immediately blew up Rich Paul's phone lines. The Warriors, the Cavaliers, the Heat, and the Timberwolves are all actively throwing themselves at a 41-year-old athlete. But while the casual fans are arguing about those destinations, there is a major Eastern Conference star making moves behind the scenes to completely block one of those landing spots. We will get to that specific drama shortly, because the initial player reactions across the league are far too entertaining to skip. Luka Doncic was the first person to break the silence on social media, and his response was incredibly telling. Remember, Luka is the guy who literally shared the floor with him during that brief, highly celebrated season and a half before both of their primary backcourt partners got hurt. Luka did not write a dramatic essay or fake a bunch of tears for the internet. He posted a single photo of them embracing on the court with an 8-word caption saying, "It was an honor to play with and learn from him."
He is leaving after 8 years. He led them to a 2020 NBA championship. And so LeBron James had to first sift through whether he...
That is it. Was clean, respectful, and direct, which is a massive contrast to the absolute circus happening everywhere else. Dwight Howard, on the other hand, did not show up to show any historic reverence. Dwight saw the notification hit his phone, grabbed a virtual bucket of popcorn, and publicly stated that the upcoming farewell tour in Ohio is going to be absolute cinema. He is not even trying to hide his excitement for the impending chaos. Even the core locker room roleplayers like Jared Vanderbilt, Jackson Hayes, and Jake LaRavia put out sincere thank you messages, showing genuine appreciation for the culture and work ethic that was demanded inside that building every single day. Then Magic Johnson entered the conversation, and his statement carries a ton of historical weight. Magic was the specific person sitting in that secret boardroom back in the summer of 2018, pitching the purple and gold brand to LeBron and Rich Paul. To kickstart this entire era, Magic put out a public message, thanking both of them for taking that meeting 8 years ago and transforming the franchise. The man who literally wrote the opening sentence of the chapter showed up to close the book himself. But that peaceful, respectful atmosphere lasted for about 2 seconds before Charles Barkley walked onto a television set and chose absolute violence. While everyone else on the internet was still trying to process the initial shock of the announcement, Chuck had already formulated his verdict and delivered it on national television. He straight up told the world that LeBron only has one logical move left on his career board, and that is packing his bags for a third stint with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Barkley argued on an ESPN interview that going to any other team would just look like a desperate, artificial attempt to chase championships just to catch up to the ghost of Michael Jordan. Barkley is actually looking at the basketball landscape instead of just chasing a quick viral headline. The Cavaliers are coming off a massive run to the 2026 Eastern Conference Finals, where they finally fell to the New York Knicks. That roster is already completely loaded with an elite scoring weapon like Donovan Mitchell, a veteran playmaker like James Harden, and an absolute defensive fortress featuring Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen. If you drop a veteran piece into that specific lineup, he does not have to carry an ungodly offensive burden for 40 minutes a night. He can literally coast through the winter months and just teach a group of talented young players how to win games when the calendar hits May and June. Barkley openly laughed at the ongoing rumors linking him to San Francisco, calling the entire Golden State narrative a glorified corporate retirement tour that has absolutely nothing to do with high-level basketball. Shaquille O'Neal was absolutely not trying to hear any of that Cleveland nostalgia. Shaq immediately cut Chuck off mid-sentence to tell him he was completely out of his mind. Shaq's literal argument was that nobody wants to watch a slow-paced textbook offense in Ohio when you could watch Steph Curry and LeBron share a backcourt in San Francisco. He brought up the gold medal run from the Paris Olympics, reminding everyone how effortless their chemistry looked on the international stage when they went completely undefeated. Shaq insisted that a Warriors super team would be absolute mandatory television every single night and could easily secure another ring. This leaves the entire basketball community stuck in a massive state of debate, trying to choose between a classic, emotional hometown return or an unprecedented historical super team. While those two were screaming at each other on television, the most heavily loaded reaction of the entire summer quietly dropped from a legendary Laker icon, and he firmly took Barkley's side. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar released an absolute essay of a statement, which is a plot twist that absolutely nobody saw coming. We cannot forget the complicated history between these two individuals. Kareem held the regular season scoring record for 38 long years before LeBron broke it right in front of his face back in 2023. Everyone expected some passive-aggressive commentary or some lingering resentment from the captain. But he completely flipped the script. Kareem told the public that LeBron has been an absolute winner on and off the court, and he explicitly told Laker fans that they need to stop being ungrateful and appreciate everything he delivered during his 8 years in the city. Then, Kareem delivered the ultimate punchline, stating that if he does return to Cleveland, it will not even matter if they win a title, because his hometown fans will finally get the chance to give an icon a proper, structural goodbye. He even joked that LeBron might end up becoming the mayor of Cleveland when his playing days are done. That comment shows that Kareem recognizes his status transcends the sport of basketball in Ohio. The man is a literal civic institution. Dave McMenamin backed this up perfectly, stating on television that the only place that truly accepts, embraces, and celebrates him for every single aspect of his identity is Cleveland. This entire situation shines a very harsh light on the bitter, toxic side of the Los Angeles fan base. If Kareem Abdul-Jabbar can completely swallow his personal pride and show that level of grace to the individual who took his historic crown, it makes all the complaining local fans look incredibly foolish. So now you have Barkley, Kareem, and the lead team reporters all pointing toward Ohio, yet the Golden State rumors continue to get louder by the hour. Why? Because of the absolute chess move Draymond Green pulled the exact day before the announcement. On June 29th, Draymond walked away from $27.7 million by declining his player option. You do not leave that much guaranteed cash on the table unless you are explicitly clearing up cap space so your front office can make a run at a historic superstar. The sheer thought of Steph and LeBron operating under Steve Kerr is terrifying to the rest of the league, which brings us right back to that